What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.
All right, everybody, welcome back into the Fantasy Points podcast. Brian Drake alongside the guru, John Hansen. You got a taste of the AFC with Mr. C, Adam Caplan. Now we're going to dive into the NFC as Adam empties his notebook, and this is just so good. I've got my notepad out, guys, right here. I'm taking notes. The Khalil Shakir nuggets were great. I actually scarfed him up in a draft right after Mr. C was talking about him. So I appreciate that. Well, let's dive in. Let's start in the NFC East. And if you know Adam, you know he also does a podcast called Inside the Birds with Jeff Mosher, one of my favorite pods. I listen to it often. Let's start with the Eagles. They had an eventful offseason, sure. Adam. Saquon Barkley's there, but gone is Jason Kelsey. Gone is Fletcher Cox. We've got this new offense with Kellen Moore. Maybe Jalen Hurts can find the middle of the field when he throws the ball. And we've got some questions now at the third wide receiver. Jahan Dotson brought in. Hopefully he can fill that role when they play heavy 11 personnel under Moore. So let's empty the notebag on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, all right. So let's get started here. There's some concerns. Hurts dropped off. He didn't have a good season. Great for fantasy, by the way, which is odd. What an anomaly. But from an NFL standpoint, he didn't play well. He struggled to process information. He just wasn't comfortable. It wasn't a protection standpoint. The scheme got kind of figured out. That was the word around the league I got. That got very stale, and that's why Nick Sirianni's offense is gone.
Did they even have one by the end? Did they even have a scheme?
Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, John, it was bad. It was bad. So Kellen Moore's is I know his offense real well. I've talked to people, coaches who work with him. They'll run some tempo. They'll run some no huddle. Hurts will be under center a little bit. Not a lot, but it's a great scheme. Very fantasy friendly. Quarterbacks love it. You mentioned Jahan Dotson, who'll be their he won't be their main slot receiver. Smith will do it as well. Smith's slot numbers are great, but Absolutely. They needed a third receiver. Okay, they didn't have one. Britton Covey, their punt returner, had a great camp. Who will back up Dotson in the slot, and Johnny Wilson, their 6th-round pick, who's got the longest arms of any receiver that was drafted, 35.5-inch arms, which is basically left tackle arms.
Wow, he's huge.
John, you and I saw him at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
The kid.
It was just weird to even see him out there playing wide receiver. Quite frankly.
He because the question was, would he play tight end? And the Eagles are absolutely emphatic he's not playing tight end for us. So my issues with this, and I'll give you a couple more fantasy nuggets, but Cam Jurgens is, he's kind of new to center. He only played it 2 years in college. He was a tight end before he converted to offensive line. He was their Eagles right guard last year. Played pretty well, by the way. So it's going to be a little challenging because now you have 2 guys playing next to each other. Mekhi Becton, who's never played guard before in his life, never played inside before until the Eagles, Jeff Stoughton, their offensive line coach, made the decision to move him inside. Now, you're always worried about his weight, though I'm told he's down about 50 pounds from 2 years ago. Maybe he's in the 360 range, 355, which is not bad for him. But you're always worried about stamina and technique because he's a very tall guy to play inside. He wears a sleeve on his right knee. Is he going to hold up? And the strange thing is his backup, Tyler Steen, also was a tackle in college who had never played guard before until last year. That's a concern. Their line was not elite last year. It was very good, but it's not elite from a tape standpoint, from what I was told. So that's a little concerning. Goddard, look, Kellen Moore's tight ends catch the football. Like they're going to catch he's going to get the ball. Now, Brian, you mentioned how Hurts is risk averse throwing it inside. That the numbers show you that. Last year was really bad. So, but I'm feeling better about Goddard just because of the scheme. Now, the one concern I have from a fantasy standpoint, and this ties into it from an NFL standpoint, there was way too much checking down in training camp. That concerned me. I don't quite understand. I know that Jalen's new to this, new to this offense.
I mean, that could bode well for Barkley early.
It could, it could, John.
Forcing him. They'll call some plays, like check the damn ball down on this play.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though, John. I don't think these were called check down. You don't call check down. It's just in there.
Well, he's check down conscious, I believe, and maybe that's because they have Saquon Barkley.
I don't think that's it. I don't think let me put it to you this way. He had an awful spring. Jalen was not ready.
All right, so he's checking down because he doesn't know what's going on. Then
I wouldn't go that far. I just don't think he made progress. He had a solid camp, but I don't think he's quite there in total comfortability. He mentioned something which is insane. He's had like 8 different play callers in his last 10 years of football.
Yeah,
and I think we need to be just let him get the scheme down. He was way better in training camp than he was in the spring, where there were a lot of deflected passes.
Didn't he just throw his first pick like 5 days ago?
Right, but John, I think he was less. I think he was kind of more risk averse. I don't think he was.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, okay. I saw it because I was at 10 practices. I saw 16 teams this summer practice. You take notes, and this is something I saw, and I don't know what it means yet. It's right. Because of training camp.
I'm
John,
not drafting him.
I think he's going to be good because I love Kellen's scheme. I just know the way he coaches, and it's very quarterback friendly. But I would reach for him.
Still there?
What's that?
The tush push is still there. That's a
great question. Now it's funny you say that. So a friend of mine, I can't say who it is, but he's an agent, and he asked me that. Actually, I asked him that today, and I said, "Well, with Barkley in there, he's going to get some goal line carries. Jalen will too, but to account for $12.5 million a year, and he's going to make." I don't have the contract in front of me. It might be $20 million this season with a signing bonus and salary, whatever the hell it is. He's got to. He's not coming off the field very much. Now, I will tell you about Barkley, and this is where PFF's not right. His pass protection. He's not a good pass protector. Kenny Gainwell's actually a better pass protector. I'm not going to go into how I know this, but I know this is a fact that Barkley doesn't scan pre-snap well. He doesn't use his body well. That doesn't mean he won't be on there most third downs. You have to count for his contract. He's got to play on third downs, or this contract is like someone's getting in trouble on their coaching staff if he's not on their third downs. But I'm just telling you, watch how this plays out during the season. If Barkley starts struggling pass pro, Gainwell coaches love. I'm just telling you.
Tell me something good about Will Shipley because I love
him. Absolutely love him.
Will Shipley.
John, he had a really good training camp. He's got way more juice than Gainwell. Gainwell's a better pass protector. Great. But for Dynasty Leagues, folks, this is a major down-the-line Dynasty League alert, and I'm going to give you a lot of Dynasty tonight, more than I did last night.
Gainwell,
what's
my
that?
personal report on Will Shipley, because I sat down with him.
Yeah.
Old soul, old school, smart as a whip, knows what the hell he's doing. I mean, this guy is awesome.
The only thing, John, he's not a physical back. He's got great short area juice.
He loves playing out. He's
can catch.
More of a space guy.
Yes, he can catch. Yeah, he's the Eagles are a major inside zone running team, and he'll be good in that.
Yeah.
But he's not real physical. He's got improvement pass pro. But I'm talking about more after the season. Gainwell's contract's up. Gainwell is a Sirianni guy. Sirianni pushed for him big time when they drafted him. Like, this was Sirianni's guy.
Right.
But they drafted Shipley in the 4th. If you're in a Dynasty League, keep an eye on this, because with Barkley's injury history, which is major, the Eagles are locked into Barkley's contract for a minimum of 2 to 3 years. So Barkley's not going anywhere until 2026 at the earliest. Yeah. And I'm not saying what's that?
I'm kind of bummed that I moved from New Jersey because, as you know, a bunch of the Eagles lived in my old town.
Yeah.
Sirianni lived a couple blocks away. I'm like, man, it would be cool. I want to hang out with Will Shipley. I don't know where he lives, but
he's a goofy looking dude. I'll say that. He's definitely different looking.
I just got a great vibe from him, man. Like old school. Like,
again, he's pretty down to earth. Yeah, I've heard of
down to earth. Yeah.
He's
a North Carolina guy.
Yep, I'm just talking Dynasty. I think Shipley. This is a way down, like your last pick of your Dynasty League draft. In fact, I think did you take him in our Dynasty? Someone stole him from me when I think that was the round I wanted him. I think you might have hijacked.
Maybe I didn't. Let me see that. Yeah. I don't know if I think maybe I did actually.
So
I absolutely have such a great vibe on that kid.
Yeah, he's got great short area juice. You don't need to be many practices. Now Dotson, here's the word on Dotson. He obviously has no fantasy. He has no redraft value. Dynasty really none.
What happened?
He got the former.
Yeah, I got Will Shipley, baby. 38th pick of the draft.
Yeah, Dotson is not physical. The tape was bad last season. I mean, I'm to give you an idea of how I knew Dotson was in trouble.
Damn.
I'm there the first week of training camp. They're talking up to Zacchaeus, and they're like, I just got the vibe they did not like Dotson.
Yeah, totally.
And a week ago, I heard that, or a week and a half ago, I'm like, he's going to be moved. Yeah. I heard it was like wasn't good. Like the
I had him on my
staff were not happy with him, and
I had him on my target list.
Yeah,
I bailed on August 7th. I'm like,
they're really down on him. Yeah, so, but he's now with us. You have to remember that coaching staff or front office was not there when he was drafted. They had no allegiance to him, John.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
so
I thought maybe there was some sort of schism with Bieniemy in that scheme, but
I don't know.
Jahan Dotson is a problem.
But here's the thing: he gets a reprieve. He'll be there for 2 years. He's going to be there 3. He's more of a Z receiver. He really can't play X. He's not physical. Johnny Wilson is dealing with his concussion, but Johnny Wilson could wind up being.
Goes down.
What's that? Yeah, I was going to say that's what I'm getting to. Wilson, when he gets healthy, could be AJ Brown's backup. I just don't see Dotson being an X receiver. I just don't think he's strong enough.
Hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell no.
But that's Philly. You know that's enough for them. Let me see. Giants. Just a couple quick notes. Neighbors is I don't want to put him in the elite class already. He hasn't played an NFL down. He's a Z receiver. They're going to be more 11 personnel this season than probably last year. This is the fastest group of receivers they've had in years. Their pass pro will be better with Andrew Thomas. Right now he's healthy. Okay, he had the major hamstring problem last year with Runyon. Michael Schmidt's now's got a year under his belt. Luminor is not a bad player who did a good job for the Raiders last year. Greg Van Roten, he's okay. He's not great. Did okay with the Raiders, but this is the best line they've put together in a while.
He would be a lot better of a player if he started telling people to pronounce his last name Van Roten.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah,
that is my contention.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure? If Neighbors is the Z, who the hell's the X for the Giants?
They used him as a Z when I was there.
Jalen Hyatt,
and they have
Wandale. It was really Wandale. See, they may open in 12, but they're going to play a ton of 11. It's good. Slayton's going to be it's between Neighbors, Robinson, and Slayton. However they want to do it. But I was blown away when I saw Theo John. Like they had one against Detroit in joint practices. They spread it. They were spreading Detroit out.
Yeah,
it was Neighbors, Wandale, and Hyatt, or then Slayton Hyatt rotated with Theo Johnson. I was like, holy smokes, the speed that they have on the field.
Yeah.
And if they could protect now, Daniel Jones is the way I understand it. His timing was the real problem in training camp because remember he missed it. Yeah. Basically, hadn't done anything since November.
Sure.
But if they could protect, Jones could potentially be better than people think. So if you're like I have friends who are doing they're in 2 quarterback leagues in Superflex. If you're dying, as John loves to say,
of course,
way late and by the way, he ran. I watched him against Detroit in the practice. He ran fine. His timing isn't there yet.
Well, he actually, believe it or not, despite last year, he is on my list of targets. Just because I cannot pass on
nobody wants him.
I know exactly. Yeah, I can't pass on an ROI opportunity over here. Yeah. Actually, I'm looking at last year's draft plan where
that's a good way to say it. Exactly. And
but my line was something of if you're wading through the skank 220 picks in at quarterback, I submit to you one Daniel Jones.
That's great. Yeah. John can't quit. There's some players over there. John can't quit. And
I mean, I can't quit looking.
You and John Maurer, the owner, he's like very close to Daniel Jones. But anyway,
I can't quit opportunities, man.
I got you, man. Okay. So Giant fans feel good about their speed. That would be it. We're not going to talk much defense here. I'm very well. Let's put it this way. You know how this actually could be good for Daniel Jones, John? First of all, Devin Singletary is great at the job as he did it with Houston. He has no juice at all. Tracy's the change up.
Right.
But defensively, John, they got major problems in their secondary. They're going to give up points if they don't. If Thibodeau and Burns don't get home, they're going to get torched in the secondary.
I'm sure I'm going to be talking about wide receivers going up against number 28.
Yeah,
I'm going to be like, I love Flott.
Yeah, and he's not starting. Yeah,
because he gives up plays, babe. I love this guy. Keep him in the league.
Yeah. So let's go to Washington. Is there anything? I love Ben Sinnott for Dynasty. Love him, and he's their guy long term. But Zach Ertz is Cliff Kingsbury's guy.
I have predicted since like April, Zach Ertz will be the tight end 9 through week 6 this year.
That look, I'm feeling he's going to surprise people. He's another guy you could get way late and redraft.
And then he'll get hurt.
Yeah, but I mean, Zach knows the scheme. That's why he's there.
Oh, I know. He's going to be there.
Other than that, I'm not too keen on. They were looking to acquire another receiver. Washington.
Are you keen on Dalton Keene?
Yeah, he's still in the league somewhere. But that's it. Nothing. I just wanted to mention that one because I've kind of known about that for a while. Robinson's their lead back, or Eckler will play mostly on third down. A little bit of a change up.
How about Chris Rodriguez not making it?
Yeah, he's on the practice squad, I think.
I've had a bad vibe on him for months. Like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he can run.
Keep him on the squad. I see that. But I mean, you lose your job to Jeremy McNichols. It's got to be special teams.
Well, McNichols is a phenomenal pass protector. Phenomenal.
I know, but man, it's like, wow, Jeremy McNichols is still in the league.
I know this guy. You can't quit. Remember how fast he was?
He played for Snoop Dogg in high school, I believe.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Brian. Let's go to the next division.
Not did he? It was Snoop Dogg.
North.
All right. Well, the one thing I did want to ask before we got off Washington was anything on Austin Eckler. Because you got Brian Robinson.
Yeah, he's the change up, and he's going to see mostly time on third down for sure.
Okay, all right. You think he's got anything left?
Well, he had the ankle injury last year. I mean, at 29, this is a perfect role for him. He's not a lead back; he cannot do it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the key on Eckler, real quick.
So I want to talk about Daniels in a second. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What do you got?
He has to score short touchdowns, or else he's not going to be worth anything. He's not going to catch a ton of balls from Jaden.
I don't see Daniels checking down.
He's not going to get a ton of carries.
We'll see.
So if he doesn't score, you're screwed. That's my contention.
Daniels, if you're in a 2-quarterback league, if you're struggling, you're dying, like John likes to say, you get shut out for every second quarterback. Kingsbury, talk to the people who've worked with Kingsbury. Their quarterbacks will run inside the 10. He will, and Daniels could run. Sure. Daniels will score a bunch on the ground, more than you probably think. I don't know what you have projected.
He'll get like 7.
Yeah, I at least I really see that. I really do see that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, the news of the day came out of San Francisco, so let's bounce over to the NFC West for our next division, where Brandon.
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Got his contract. So he and from everything I've read, Adam, and I'm sure you can clear this up. It looks like it's the same contract that's been on the table since early August, and he finally just accepted it. So Brandon Ayuk is in the fold. Now they can start working on Trent Williams because that's another massive issue.
Yeah, that'll get done. That won't be hard at all. No, Ayuk's done. I know from the real concern with Ayuk is, and I know he's been in their building, obviously, so they know what kind of physical shape he's in. But because he has not practiced in months, they're not going to know how many snaps he can handle early on until they actually watch him practice, and they'll check his fluids of his hamstring and go through everything. Look, for fantasy, I nailed this last summer, and everyone who knows John and I very well working together at Sirius XM. I was on Ayuk 3 years ago. He's probably my favorite receiver in the league. But I said, look, the problem is he's on the wrong team for fantasy. He'll never be a true number 1 fantasy receiver. He's the best number 2 fantasy receiver, and no doubt. He's always going to be capped. He's going to be in that 5 catch a game. It's not going to change. Yeah. It's not going to change.
Right.
Not this year. It's not.
Oh, and now more than ever.
Now, and Pearsall, unfortunately, it's too bad because I was told very strongly before he hurt his hamstring in OTAs, he looked fantastic.
I'm sure he did.
And now his shoulder, this recurring shoulder problem, he can't take contact. He's not clear for contact. I don't know about week 1 yet. We'll see. Don't know yet. He's not draftable this year. He's not. But
I love Ricky Pearsall like a son.
Yep.
And his ADP is wide receiver 67. I have him at 103.
Yeah, he's not draftable. Now, for Dynasty, now that they're locked in for Ayuk, the question is Debo after the season.
He's gone. He's got to be gone.
Well, he showed up. I was talking to Michael Silver.
Right. I know he showed up in great shape and all that.
Yeah, Mike said it's the best shape of his career.
He was probably preparing to be the number one wide receiver.
Well, no, but John, I think because of his contract, he knows what's in his contract. There's no guaranteed money after the season.
Right.
Now, I will tell you, Kyle, I know Debo did some of the stuff Kyle does with him, but not obviously quite what he's done since he got there. And this is a Kyle creation. This is his guy. So I'm not ruling out a return, but the problem is if Pearsall gets his injuries behind him and could wind up taking the third job this year from Jennings later on, maybe. I know Jennings blocks well. I get all that. They brought him back. They bought his restricted free agent season out of him. I get that. But Pearsall's got way more juice. Mm-hmm. Or maybe Jennings and Pearsall split the three. The other question is, and I don't know that they'll do it, technically because Pearsall is hurt. But there's a coach I'm friendly with another team who works for a coach who likes 12 personnel, but they have a lot of receivers. He goes, at some point, you got to account for having a great receiver group. You got to change your philosophy. Yeah. So Kyle's going to have to get realistic. You're going to have to start going with more 11 personnel to account for everybody. You have to.
Let me ask you a big picture question. I don't know these guys. I've talked to Kyle Shanahan probably 10 times.
Yeah.
I've met John Lynch. I mean, stand-up guys for sure. But, you get the Trey Lance screw up. That was bad. I mean, that's really bad.
But then they got Purdy right.
Yeah, but this feels to me like a screw up. Drafting Pearsall and then now.
Yes, I didn't agree with it.
But here's my point.
Okay.
When Brock Purdy balls the F out this year, how the F are they going to pay Brock Purdy?
They have to. I mean, it's just
they're screwed.
Yeah, I mean, John, and I know they don't like restructuring like some of the other teams do, or they may have to change. They may have to change. They may have to figure out a way just to because John, that this is all about the big reason why they didn't want to trade Ayuk, and they were like, they did all they could, and they bent their structure. They did some things they normally won't do.
Yeah,
I put this out in May on Sports Grid. I said to Scott Furrow, I said, I don't know what's out there. I'm just telling you. I could tell you as a fact, despite all the rhetoric and all the nonsense that's out there, they don't want to trade him.
Right.
They want to get the
game changer. So that's why I think Debo's gone. Debo is gone, so that'll be their excuse to sign Purdy.
Well, with Pearsall, they can't. You can't keep everybody.
No, you can, of course.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. So, other than that, Isaac Guerrero, I have some great stuff for Dynasty League people. So he has, and this is from like multiple scouting people, maybe some of the 2 or 3 best hands of the draft for any running back, maybe the best hands, absolutely elite hands. Most people don't know this. Probably, I don't know if anyone knows this. It's all from, you would have to scout professionally to know this because it goes from his tape. I guess, where did he go to school before Louisville? I forget. Was it Michigan State? I don't remember.
I'm not sure. I just know Louisville.
Yeah.
Well, one person told me, it's funny. One person told me as fast as he was returning that 93-yard kick last week, he's actually faster when he's running as a running back. Mm-hmm. He's a really good kid, really smart. He got 2 issues. Two issues. He's older and he's been hurt a lot.
Right.
And that's the problem for Dynasty. But
24.
Yeah, he's a long-term backup for McCaffrey. I'm telling you, he absolutely is. Mason's ahead of him because he's been there. It's just his 3rd year. But if you're looking for McCaffrey's long-term backup, I want Guerrero.
Really? Over Mason?
I'm sorry?
Over Mason?
Yes. Remember,
I mean, that's fair to say long-term, but we can't fast forward to December.
Well, Mason... Well, just this season, it's Mason as of now, for sure.
Okay.
But I'm talking for Dynasty long-term.
Right, yeah. Because our guy, Jeff Schaefer, texted me today asking me that question. So I told him.
Wow, Mason. How about that from Curb Your Enthusiasm? How about that?
Yeah. I told him Mason.
I have his email. I'll reach out to him. How about Elijah Mitchell done for the season? So,
I mean,
Jordan Mason, after this season, will be a restricted free agent. Just so you guys know. So his contract's up after this season. They have to tender him. Well, they don't have to. If they don't tender him, he walks. So that's just something to keep an eye on.
Yeah. I'm told Elijah Mitchell suffered a separated shoulder coming out of the womb.
It's unbelievable. John, as long as you and I have done these shows, other than like Tim Biakabatuka, I'm going old school. I don't know who else has been this injured running back. What's that?
I was a big Biakabatuka guy that 1 year, man. I was all in on him.
Couldn't stay healthy.
Great for about 5 games.
Yeah. That's it. But Guerrero long term, I'm talking long term. Right. That would be it for the Niners. Is there anything? Yeah, let me explain the Corum stuff and Kyren Williams. Kyren Williams is their lead back. That's not in question. The issue is, and Sean knows this, he grinds his running backs. He doesn't really, long term. You know what happened with Gurley. He's one of these guys who's going to just do that. This is what he does.
He's like Tommy Lasorda back in the day. He used to keep his pitchers in forever.
Right. Now, Corum had a good camp. He's smart. He's tough. He's more physical than Kyren. I'm not saying you would draft Corum as an individual player for fantasy and not have Kyren Williams, but Corum eventually is going to carve out a role because he's done what they've asked, from what I understand. He's where he should be. Kyren Williams, John, the reason why I dropped the 5th is no one thought he could be a lead back.
Yeah.
I know he works great in that scheme.
He does.
I'm skeptical of him holding up. I really am.
Yeah.
He's sub 200 pounds, I believe. And last year, John, you said it. His ADP was like 200 coming into the season.
Yeah. He doesn't. He just doesn't. He's not physical. He's great for the zone scheme. He does a really good job. I know they mix I know they'll run some gap. I get that. But
Corum have an O-line injury or two. That's like a real problem for Kyren Williams. I know he's got great patience and vision, but
right. Couple things. So, the left tackle suspended for 2 games. Joe Noteboom, who lost his job to Alaric Jackson, he's back in there. Jonah Jackson's back. They're feeling optimistic for week 1 with his injury. This Jordan Whittington, by the way, had a really good camp. He's 6th rounder out of Texas.
Drafted him today in the SiriusXM host league with my last pick.
Oh, nice. Here's what I'll tell you, and this is not a knock on Puka Nacua. So I ran into one of the former Rams assistants. He explained me their whole offense. He said the reason why Sean reduces the receivers is because he knows they can't win.
Yeah.
Sean would never say that publicly.
Makes sense.
Because he knows they have to reduce them to win.
They're all slot receivers.
Right. And when you bunch them together like he does, he keeps them tight. It's hard to sort if you're a defensive back.
Route combinations.
Yeah, 100%. He goes, this is why Puka wins. And Puka's bigger than your average. He's a big dude. I saw him up close when I was with the Titans. Excuse me, with the Chargers for joint practice. So I learned a lot about this offense from this guy who used to work for Sean. He just said what he did say about running backs with Sean is he believes they have to get into a rhythm and a tempo, and he feels like if he starts rotating them heavily, that they can't. Yeah. Like Gurley's a great example. Gurley was a rhythm back. He needed a lot of volume.
Yeah.
So I understand. I got a little bit of an insight why Sean does that.
Maybe give him a couple series though.
Yeah, I think he's getting 2 series. That's what I think.
That's what I say. Yeah, out of the gate, almost.
Yeah, I don't know about out of the gate. We'll see, but
almost.
We know.
Yeah, like
John Kyron's not going to last.
Game 5.
Yeah, Kyren Williams will not last. He's just not going to.
Right. Unless Kyren gets hurt with all the bulk of the carries in September.
Yeah. And Demarcus Robinson is just remarkable. This is one of the most remarkable fantasy stories. He's still the 3 over 2-2. That's definitely happening.
But Whittington may play over Demarcus Robinson at some point.
He might take some snaps,
because
sure, but
blocking.
Demarcus
Whittington's.
Yeah, well, I'll say this: Demarcus came back because they gave him a little money because he's their 3. Yeah. Not saying Whittington won't take something from him, but Robinson's ahead of him. Let me go to the Cardinals. Trey Benson is absolutely the future running back. There's no question. The Connor's on the final year of his deal. They'll rotate Benson in. He's the clear 2. He was the clear 2 in training camp.
He'll be an RB1 if Connor's out, probably.
100%. He's got size. He's a good kid. Everything's good. I think he's healthy as of now. Greg Dortch is starting opposite Harrison.
Dortch.
He's
over Wilson?
I draft him every week.
I was told that 2 weeks ago by someone who would know, obviously worked for the team, and I'm like, what?
What?
I
Wow.
find it hard to
Every
believe,
highlight
but
you see on Twitter is never of
Dortch.
Marvin Harrison Jr. It's always Greg Dortch, and they're
I don't
talking
understand
him
it.
up.
Guys, I'm like dumbfounded.
There'll be people, Marvin Harrison fans screaming all year, Dortch.
He's 5'7" and 1/10 of an inch. Come on, man. Really?
He's right on line with Kyler. That's why he can throw.
Yeah, exactly. Kyler's not 5'9". Yeah, but no, they're still heavy 12 personnel. That's not going to change.
God,
that's what Drew Petzing, who's a disciple of Stefanski, that's what they're going to do.
I still like Michael Wilson. I'm sorry,
I do. I mean, the shoulder, John. It's a shame. He was doing well, and his shoulder problem was recurring last season. It's too bad.
I'm tweaking Dortch projections right now here. Dortch.
I know. I had to bring it up because it's so absurd. The coaches love him because it's a great story. He's been cut a bunch.
Yeah.
Anything else left? Absolutely. I was with the Seahawks. Oh yeah. Oh, I got to get to this.
Oh,
I'm not predicting this.
It's Ken Walker season.
No. We'll get to him. We're going to start a receiver. I'm just going to say it would not surprise me because of the scheme they're running, which is heavy 11 personnel, is if JSN outproduced Tyler Lockett. Can't say it's a lock.
Well, I have JSN outproducing Tyler Lockett.
Well, receptions.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Okay. Good. At least someone else agrees with me. Good.
I have JSN leading. I actually have him leading the team in receptions. By one.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to your guy, Kenneth Walker. So one of the things I really like what they're doing, they're splitting him out. They're moving him as a pass catcher. He hadn't really caught the ball very much.
Right.
And I don't feel like Mike McDonald will micromanage his grub like Pete Carroll did every OC he had. And John, you and I have talked about this when he micromanaged Brian Schottenheimer, and when Russell was off to the best start of any quarterback in the last 25 years, with 26 touchdowns in 8 games, and then Pete took over.
Ridiculous.
That's what happened. So
yeah,
got it from people close to the situation. So I don't see that happening. But I'm very enthusiastic with what I heard about Walker in the scheme.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, I'm all in for different reasons than probably you would have.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've always been critical of Walker, but now that
I know you crushed him previously.
Yeah, well, now he's gotten to a point where I can completely ignore his flaws because you can get him in the 5th round this year. I'm like, I'm in on that all day long because also,
what's that?
I regretted not being in on him last year, even though he wasn't great. But it kind of hit me. I'm like, damn, that's normally a guy I'm all over. I should have just ignored, my nitpicking. The bottom line, though, is Zach Charbonnet was a jag.
He was. He had a couple minor injuries. And the other thing with him is, he'll help them on 3rd down, some short yardage, but I don't see it being more than a 70-30 split. Your typical backup starter split.
Yeah, me too.
I don't see it. I just don't. Walker's got way more juice.
Yeah.
At 11 personnel. It's going to be good. Farrell Brown will be their wide tight end. This will help free up Noah Fant. Noah Fant's still not draftable until he shows me something. Mm-hmm. But I'm just everything I've heard or being around the Seahawks for 2 days with the Titans, I was very impressed with Ryan Grubb and how they feel about him.
Right.
I give Mike McDonald
about DK. What's
that?
What are your thoughts on Metcalf?
I don't have a great feel for him. It's more about the stuff I got on JSN. Just
okay.
Hearing stuff. I don't have a great feel for what he might do. The offensive line is okay. It's nothing special. It's okay. I think Gino, I think, will do well in this scheme. Quarterbacks, they'll do some tempo. They'll speed things up a little bit. I'm excited about Ryan Grubb. I think Seahawk fans and our fantasy people. Gino's another in a 2 quarterback league. If you're dying, and you notice
I kind of like Gino this year. No, I all I care about is, can I come out looking good and say, I was way over.
And by the way, his quarterbacks, he'll move his quarterbacks. That's why they wanted Sam Howell, who's very athletic.
Yeah.
He's going to roll him out. Gino might run a little bit.
I want to beat the ADP. That's it. That's all I care about. And so if the ADP is 80 and I like the player, I want to be above that and I want him to outperform that. And in that regard, I'm not a Gino person per se, but I like Gino as a late pick to kind of beat the crap out of his ADP, which is QB 26. I've got him at 20. New coordinator. They do have 3 good receivers. I mean, come on.
I know.
Oh, by the way, real quick, for those watching this who see it recording or live, who listen to Adam and I on SiriusXM, you may get this reference, but apparently, Adam, tonight, and thanks to Chad Hassey for alerting me of this, tonight is Filipino Heritage Night at Dodger Stadium, and everyone gets a bucket of lumpia.
That, as a vegan that I am, I got to get the vegetable or the vegan lumpia.
Yeah. Ironically, I first tried lumpia that year.
Spring roll, right? It's a giant spring roll, is it not?
Yeah, so it's like a cheesesteak spring roll, basically.
Oh, steak. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a lumpia guy.
So that would be the NFC West. So Garindo's an interesting name. JSN I like. Corum, by the way, Corum for Dynasty. He has a chance. It just depends on Williams' health long term. Williams will not be challenged this year. There's no way it's happening. We're just talking about long term. If Williams continues to get hurt, John, Corum could be the long term guy.
Yeah, I'm projecting that. I have him. Let's see. Geez, I might even have him higher than Kyren. Which would
mean for Dynasty? You mean for Dynasty?
Yeah, I might. Maybe not. Let's see here.
That'd be bold, but
I've got him at 20 RB 23, and I do have Kyren at RB 15, but that's pretty close.
Okay. Next division, Ryan.
All right.
Yeah.
So, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Last night we went over 10,000 subscribers. It's a great day for us here at Fantasy Points.
Nice.
Thank you guys very much. But if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. There's great dynasty content, best ball, redraft, college fantasy football. It's all here. We have the podcast form, but we have this great YouTube channel. Hit subscribe and help us out. Well, Mr. C,
real quick, by the way, Brian, sorry to cut you off.
Oh,
Brian, real quick, sorry to cut you off. I want to correct myself. I was looking at the consensus rankings. That was what I just said. Corum 23 and Kyren 15. I have Corum at 15 and Kyren at 17. So I do have Blake Corum higher than Kyren. Over the next 3 years, I believe Blake Corum will have more value than Kyren.
All right, I got to get it. We got to talk. I got to get in these rankings for the future. I got to have my own. I'd love to do that.
Got to get all up in. You want to have your own column?
Yeah, we'll talk. I got to get. We'll talk after this. But all right, so where we go next division?
Let's go to the Bears. Everyone was watching the Bears on Hard Knocks, and of course, all the news with Caleb Williams, and now they've got all these weapons for the number 1 overall pick. So there's a lot of excitement that Bears fans think they finally got their first franchise quarterback since Jim McMahon. So and DeAndre Swift, they gave him a big deal. The second free agency opened, so there's a lot of excitement around the Windy City.
Yeah, I'm pretty bullish on him. I like Shane Waldron's a very good schemer and play caller. Now, because of the 2 tight ends that they have, they're going to have to be a heavy 12 personnel. That's just the way it is, at least for this season, because Everett's got to play. He's super explosive. You notice that you mentioned DeAndre Swift. Mm-hmm. DeAndre Swift is a spread runner. It's very fascinating. See, this is interesting because Everett is a slot tight end. Kmet is a wide tight end who's an athletic wide tight end, which means in line, but he moves a little bit better than you think. It's fascinating, but these 2 tight ends have to be on the field. They'll be what we call an 11-12 team. They'll switch off, probably more than Waldron did, because remember, Pete Carroll wanted them to be a 12 personnel team. Waldron
they also drafted Odunze and
I get it, but remember, Keenan Allen is on the final year of his deal. I'd be surprised if they brought him back because
for sure.
Rome was drafted in the top 10. He's got to play. He's got to start next year.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. So, but I think they'll go 11-12. They'll bounce back a lot. The pass target group is amazing. They have poor Tyler Scott, who I met at Radio Row. I mean, he's explosive.
Yeah. He could be the shop play guy.
Right. Well, Rome can too.
Rome
will do a little bit of it,
sure.
But and obviously DJ Moore. Caleb's thing is he's going to see things he's never seen before. We saw we saw early, in preseason, he did some really interesting things. He's off schedule. This is more of a West Coast offense.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a challenge for him. That's a concern of mine. But the cool thing is they have so much talent around, and I got to give Ryan Poles credit.
Yeah.
I crushed him last year, but man, DJ, Moore, Allen, supreme possession receiver with Swift. Herbert's a changeup. Roshan could help him on third down if they needed to. With Komet,
they have no weaknesses. There are no weaknesses.
Whoever and Walter knows Everett, obviously from Seattle.
Yeah.
The only issue is the interior of their offensive line, John, is kind of shaky.
Yeah, center.
Not great, but it's a serviceable offensive line. I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling that this thing could be fascinating. It is crazy. You and I have been together hosting shows for over 20 years, Sean. We're usually out on the Bears offense. It's rare that we like them.
We did like Cutler back in the day.
We did. We were Cutler stands, but Cutler never really was consistent.
Yeah.
But Cutler never had this talent around him. This is the pass star group is super deep.
Oh, yeah.
Now, for individual players, Keenan Allen will be their main slot. I don't know. The thing is, it's going to come down to Odunze. If everything I've heard about Rome has been great, he's learning, he's doing well, he's absorbing.
He's going to be good.
Terminology, I've heard great stuff about him.
Yeah.
But he's still a rookie, and Allen and Moore have to play. So
and he's so overvalued.
Yeah.
Like basically, people are drafting him presuming that Keenan Allen will get hurt. I mean, that's my opinion.
Oh, yeah. And we've seen this before. That you're presuming a lot. It's more, John, for Dynasty, Odunze is a long-term solution, obviously. He's going to be starting on the outside once Keenan Allen retires, or won't be back. You would think after the season. And then they could have just...
He's like a 6th, 7th round pick.
That's great. I just don't see it.
It's the same crazy. OC that couldn't use JSN last year.
But you're not. You don't understand. You don't understand. I thought I explained that. John knows this because I told him what they were doing. I told him. I told everyone last spring.
Carroll.
Get out of JSN. No matter what people are telling you, they're all wrong.
Oh, I agreed.
I told you. I don't believe what's out there. Every fantasy expert's wrong. It's not happening.
Not me though.
Mm-hmm. They don't play. They're not until Pete is out. They're not going to be an 11 personnel team.
Right.
It's not going to happen.
Right.
Now, JSN did okay. He did the best he could.
Yeah, down the
he
stretch.
Wasn't bad. He despite all the micromanaging of Pete, but I know that team better than most reporters do. I can tell you, Brian, and I haven't been wrong on them in I don't know how long. I mean, I was giving John play-by-play one year of like everything was happening with their offense. 2020 was the one where I thought, oh wow, Pete Carroll finally gave in. That was the let Russ cook year, and he actually gave in to the analytical data, letting them come out and throw in the first half.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't believe it. Pete actually gave in, and then he had enough. So, yeah, I'm not usually wrong on that team. And I warn people you're going to be wrong on JSN, thinking he's a 4th round pick, whatever the hell he's going for fantasy last year.
Yeah.
But
that said,
yeah,
Rome Odunze is actually, ironically, he's going about where JSN was going last year. I don't
feel it. I'm with you, John. Not this year.
And I really love Rome Odunze. I really do. I see Larry Fitzgerald, I see that.
Yeah. The only thing is though that could help him. If Waldron changes his philosophy and goes more 11 than 12, Odunze could wind up being better than we think. I just don't see it.
I mean, it's just
because Everett's got to play. Everett came there specifically because of this scheme in Waldron. And Cole Kmet is there. He signed his extension. He's a good player. He's got to play. He's going to be on the field a lot because he's an inline blocker.
Right.
That's we know he had a great year last year before he got hurt, but his first responsibility is to block.
Yeah.
So we'll move on here. They're 11 and 12.
Sometimes you just got to let a talented player like Rome Odunze just let him go.
Yeah.
It's too expensive. Period.
We'll see. I'm gonna look into it and just check back with those guys, but I wasn't getting the vibe they're gonna be a heavy 11. So
right. Okay.
All right. Detroit.
Okay.
I'm finally giving in on Jameson just because I was telling John last year about some things Jameson had to do better from talking to them.
Oh, finally, yeah. I've been in all year.
Yeah. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I'm cautiously optimistic. that he's grown up, he's matured, he now understands what it's like to be a professional.
I mean, you're playing with Amon-Ra. There's a guy to emulate right there.
I mean, I just feel like sometimes guys just got to get out of their own way.
Yeah.
And route running had to be better. It's been better. He was a highlight show in training camp this year. He's healthy.
You dropped a couple drops, I heard.
Doesn't have the greatest hands, but they keep telling me he's uncoverable in practice. Nobody can cover him.
Good.
So
maybe Tim Patrick helps him a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, who's a mature guy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Who's on the practice squad with A-Rob, by the way.
Yeah, A-Rob.
Right?
Wow. Our guy. That's our radio co-host.
He loved it when I told him he's my breakout player there in 2015. He was like, really? Why? I go, because they told me like your chemistry with Blake was great. And he was laughing. He's like, all right.
Remember I told him I loved a prop last year on a Thursday night game with him, Allen Robinson, and it was like over freaking 12 yards. And the quarterback playing the game was so bad. But at the last play of the game, it was like Trubisky got him the ball and he hit the prop. I'm like, nailed it.
Yeah. It's so funny. Had he was going to be an Eagle, but he turned the offer down. He went to the Rams.
Right. A-Rob remembered that. He was like, oh yeah, last play of the game. I was like, yeah, right, man. He's like, oh yeah.
All right. So Detroit, Gibbs looks great. It's the same backfield. Nothing's really changed. Their offensive line is really good. It's a little bit older. It's gotten older. I'm glad they signed those two veterans, Brian, because their depth at receiver on the 53 is not very good.
No, it's not.
So that was a problem last year. John's favorite guy, Khalif Raymond, is their 3. He still is their 3. And this Isaiah Williams was a great story. This undrafted free agent out of Illinois.
Your guy Josh Reynolds, he was very good for them.
I know. It's too bad. Yeah, he's a little banged up with Denver, but that's it. Nothing. I'm so in on Gibbs. I don't know what else. I assume everyone is.
Yeah, I like him and Montgomery.
I told you, John, last year, the thing that shocked them is how physical he was. Remember in training camp, I told you nobody knows this, but he's incredibly physical, and they're going to use him in more short yardage than they anticipated. Yeah, I know Montgomery got a lot of goal line carries, but what's that?
He's one of those players. Yeah, he's in a little bit of a timeshare, but if you have the God-given gift of sight,
I don't care
anything at all. What you're looking at, you're like, this guy is so good. I'm just taking him, and that's it. Like I'll let the chips fall.
Yep. Hey, by the way, before we move on, I forgot to say. So I'm drafting 2 NFFC leagues. Check my Twitter out. I pinned it. So I'm drafting tomorrow night at 8:05 Eastern on the Superstation.
Oh, 8:05. Tony Schiavone to call the draft.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, do you know I met him, Brian, 2 years ago? Do you know that?
Did you? He called me one time. I bought a T-shirt from his podcast, and he
called me
minor league baseball for 20 minutes.
Oh, nice. Yeah, really nice guy. We had a great talk. I was at the owners' meetings, and I went up to him. We had a great talk. Yeah, he's funny. He called me a mark. I go, dude, I haven't watched wrestling in 25 years, man. I don't know anything about it.
Big into Eric Bischoff's podcast. That's a really
good I love it. Yeah. In fact, I almost worked for Bischoff until he at the Philadelphia Civic Center. He killed the house show, so I was out of a job. Yeah.
Oh.
So that
weren't you like the bell guy?
I rang the bell. Yeah, for $50. For Gary Juster was the
That's crazy. And that was WWE.
No, WCW.
Oh, WCW.
Yeah.
Was that Vince McMahon?
No. Vince McMahon's WWE. Is that what they call it?
WCW? Is that like Bobby Backlund?
No. Well, no. Backlund was WWF, but no. WCW is Ric Flair and Ted Turner.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So on TBS, I said the Superstation. 8:05, 6:05 on Saturday. Yeah. Right. So Detroit. Yeah. The reason why I'm all in on Gibbs, other than the obvious, as you said, gift of the site. Everything they've asked him to do, he's handled.
Good. Yeah.
Everything from a pass protection standpoint, knowing that the only reason why they didn't want to play him early on in the first couple of weeks is they didn't want to give him a lot of volume because it's a lot to ask a rookie running back to play. They had to deal with Montgomery's contract.
Yeah.
But they wanted to ease him in. They didn't want to, because I asked him, I remember asking him, like, well, why are you guys playing him? He's a rookie. There's a lot he's got to learn. You don't want to put it all on him. And then once they got there, and as you said, John, and I agree, you and I saw it the same way. I could give a crap whether Montgomery's the lead back. It didn't matter. Didn't matter.
Not
He's
really.
so special and elite, Gibbs.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And I love when they told me he's so physical. I was like, wow, really? I'd never heard anyone say it before. I'm like, that's good to know.
Yeah.
So
Kamara comp was real, man. I mean,
I like it. Yeah, he's more explosive than Kamara was.
Jahmyr Gibbs last year from weeks 10 through 16, so the fantasy semifinals, was the number 2 running back in all the fantasy football, averaged 18.8 PPR points a game.
And look, I'll update Jameson Williams from behind the scenes as we go along if we're doing stuff together, which I hope John and I are doing a show Friday like we were talking about. We'll work it out because I'm going to keep an eye on Jameson Williams because the only person who could stop Jameson Williams is himself. I'm just telling you, this kid.
Yeah, I've been way over on him. He's one of my top.
He's elite, John. He's
target. Elite. Yeah, I mean, come on. This is the kind of guy I've been getting behind for 30 years.
Right. He just has to keep doing it, man. Just don't stray.
Jared Goff can get him the ball very well. Like, I mean, is he Patrick Mahomes? No, but Jared Goff can get the ball downfield.
Well, it's John. And here's the other thing: do not underrate Ben Johnson. Is one of the best scheme open guys. You notice how wide open these guys get?
He will be open a lot down the field, and Jared Goff, more often than not, will probably get him the ball if he's protected.
Yeah,
go well.
Nothing really to add on Laporta. I mean, I just don't see how the hell he's going to keep up the touchdown total.
Yeah,
you know, but
then again, he is awesome in the red zone.
I know. I mean, it's like they don't cover him.
Yeah,
Green Bay. Look, Watson's healthy. Wicks is kind of, I was talking about him last night. He's the NFC version of, to me, is Shakir. But you got to be careful. There are more mouths to feed here. Watson, Dobbs, Reed, Musgrave, even our guy Bo Melton. But realistically, there's some games you just won't get the ball very much. You just don't try to be a hero and overdraft them. Yeah. We all love Wicks, Dontavian Wicks, but everybody wants to seem smart. Oh, yeah, I'm going to draft him. He's a great sleeper. I get it, but what kind of numbers do you think he's going to put up week to week with all those other guys who have to get the football?
I mean, Romeo Dobbs is a consummate professional. He's got a good chemistry with Love. Yep. Jaden Reed, we love. I love Dobbs the year before. I love Jaden Reed last year. He was great. I mean, they're really missing a Christian Watson breakout, so that's where all my money is going this year.
Yeah, I know John and I don't agree on the pass targets. I don't think he commands the ball as much as you think he does, but we'll see.
Well, I got him with 50. I only had him with 55 grabs, by the way.
That's it.
Where
you were talking him up in the spring?
I am. I'm at wide receiver 37. His ADP is
nothing.
46.
I don't care what the ADP is, dude. I thought he was a breakout player of the year. The way you were talking.
He is. I'm calling him my breakout receiver of the year.
There you go. See. Wow. Okay. I like him because he's healthy, and I like that he did the research on the hamstring. They kind of figured it out. He's a good kid.
Let me explain too for people looking, watching, and who are looking at the stuff that I do, like the top 200 cheat sheet. I mean, this again is an example of being way ahead, but not ridiculous. Christian Watson, ADP 103, let's call it 104. I've got him at 78. That is what, 26 picks. That's 2 rounds and above. That's saying like draft this guy, but it's not like, I'm not like putting him up there with like, even Michael Pittman or Christian Kirk or Terry McLaurin yet, but I am basically all in.
No, well, the ADP is reasonable, I think.
Very reasonable.
Yeah.
And it hasn't really gone that up.
Right. I just don't, the way you were blowing him up in the spring when we were hosting our show together, I was like, geez, you're crazy. I was like, you wouldn't stop. I was like, all right.
But if his ADP right now were 75, I'd be like, yeah, I'll take him at his ADP, but it's not a must-have. Mm-hmm. I am saying must-have because 103 is really, really reasonable for someone with his profile.
Sure. Very good. No, very, because he's just got to stay on the field.
It's another guy that I spent 8 minutes with. Really good vibe.
Yeah.
Great kid. He's like a son of a preacher almost. And then, of course, our friend Gary Melton, Bo's dad, came on the pod and pretty much confirmed that, great kid. That's a great receiver room. It really is.
It's the deep. It's really Wicks, Melton.
I'm just talking about like dudes, like good dudes,
So, the offensive line's fine. They've overachieved. They're not very talented, but I give them credit. They're very well coached. The scheme's changing. They're going to 43, which is crazy with Jeff Hafley, former Boston College head coach. But we don't usually talk.
They got some players though. I mean, with the new coordinator, they could turn it around.
Yep. That would Jacobs? Be it. I got a good feel. I got to be careful the way this is because people use this against me, but I'm not down on Justin Jefferson as much as other people are because of Darnold. So I was just talking to someone who worked with Sam Darnold and said, look, anyone who studied him knows the issues. The processing is he freezes. Sometimes he doesn't know what to do and he gets sacked, he gets hit and whatever. Yeah. But he did a good job he played in the West Coast scheme last summer with Shanahan. He's playing the same scheme this year with O'Connell. He knows it's time. You got to get it out. Connell's great at managing quarterbacks. I'm just not as. I know a lot of people are off are jumping off of bridges because Darnold's thrown to Jefferson. I'm not saying it's going to be great. I just don't think it's be as bad as people are saying. I think it'll be okay. Nick Mullins isn't terrible. If he has to play,
Mullins got him the ball last year,
and it's just Mullins play for Shanahan. He was there last year.
I might have more confidence in Mullins.
He's probably processes. In fact, I know he processes better. He just doesn't have. Darnold has a strong arm, but I'm just letting you know that Darnold, the guy I spoke with, he knows plenty about Darnold. I can't go too deep into it, but he just said, "Look, it's a good scheme for him. It'll force him to get rid of it. Sam's coachable. There are limitations with him."
Yeah. It's a shame that his processing in the brain is slow because it's a waste of space. Because I've seen Sam Darnold close up. He's got one of the biggest noggins I've ever seen in my life.
Big redhead. It's a shame, John. J.J. McCarthy was so good in the game he got hurt against the Raiders.
I know.
Phenomenal.
Oh, I know.
Phenomenal. Under duress with bodies around him.
Snapping it off. Oh.
He made a jump, I was told, that 2 weeks before he got hurt. He started understanding the West Coast scheme because he had not played in it before. Yeah. And it was starting to come to him. Yep. And it did in that damn game against the Raiders.
Great. And look, shout out to our guy, Brett Whitefield, because number one, Brett absolutely knows ball.
Yeah.
And he was out in front on this over everyone. I don't copy off of him, honestly. I do actually have my own opinions, honestly. And I loved McCarthy too. And that maybe part of that is because I really do trust Brett. But that was a great. I mean, look, we'll
see. He hasn't played down yet. Yeah, he hasn't played down yet. Let's not go crazy.
I know.
But that was very. Here's John. Here's the thing that I don't care if he's playing against fifth teamers.
He's going to be good. Exactly.
Well, the traffic that I saw, I was able to see some coaching tape. The traffic that was around, I was like, wow, that surprised me. He made great throws, man. He drove it. Everything was. He was lined up correctly. He just looked good. So I'm feeling good about him. What's that?
I don't know if you saw that. Not to get off on a tangent, but Brent described the play to me, and I saw his cut up of it. But there was a play where he literally fooled the safety with his body lean, and threw it a little bit over here, and it blew Brent's mind.
He also threw two. He threw a couple really good deep balls.
Yeah,
I was like, wow, okay, he might be a little bit more ahead of schedule. Because I remember I defended Brett. I said, listen, I know a lot of NFL people I'm close to do not like McCarthy at all. I mean, a buddy of mine gave him a low third-round grade. He said he's basically Kenny Pickett. I was like, okay, listen, these guys know more than anybody. But doesn't mean they can't be wrong.
Right.
I felt that everything I've heard about O'Connell is he's a quarterback whisperer. He's great at reaching. He's a former quarterback. He's great at reaching guys, not asking them to do things they can't do. Cousins was great under him, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
So we'll see what happens. So I mean, but I'm not afraid. So why am I bringing this up? If you're drafting this weekend like I am in 3 leagues, I'm not going to shy away from Jefferson as my first receiver. I'm just not.
I would though, unless he fell to me at like 10.
Well, yeah. I'm gonna.
I've got to see. Would you rather have Chase with Joe Burrow, AJ Brown with Jalen Hurts, or Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers? I mean, those guys
Wilson, who's I'm so into Wilson this year. I'm like,
by the way, what do you, not to go off to the AFC, what do you think of this report that's chaos with the Jets? Do you see that?
no. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
What did it say? Like, what are we talking about?
Somebody
Rodgers
reported
runs the team, and there's all kinds of internal chaos because Rodgers has so much power.
He's got a lot of juice in their building. I didn't see the report, so I don't know. But
he's got a lot of juice. Yeah,
but I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you.
Guess what? If they win, that'll cure every.
Yeah, and they're going to. I'm telling you, to win that division. If he plays 15 games, they'll win that division.
They're going to win. No, they're going to win. They're going.
Aaron
to
Wilson's
win.
this year's CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, man. Yeah. Based on the way I heard they're going to use them, so yeah, that's it. I mean, it's wait. Oh, we didn't do the NFC South. Let's do the South. So,
all right, let's go over there and make sure you're following Mr. C on Twitter at Caplan NFL. Check out his great work over at Pro Football Network and Sports Grid. Check him out with our guy Scotty Farrell. Shake it up. I love that guy. Remember him on the old Howard 101 days. I have a framed picture. Farrell, I was a kid, and Farrell was doing nationwide radio, and he autographed it and sent it to me. I had it on my wall when I was like 15.
Nice.
I was actually a pretty
Scott?
big fan of Farrell in my early 20s before. I guess I wasn't radio at the time, but I'm like, yeah, this dude's cool as hell. Fast forward years later, I used to go on that show on Howard 101 it was like Wednesday night at for like an hour.
Yeah,
they're dropping F-bombs.
He's great.
Let's start with Atlanta because they're the team that everyone's talking about.
They should be. And
Artie Smith is gone. Here comes, Kirk Cousins coming off the Achilles. So we'll see what happens there. But I mean, if it doesn't happen for Drake London and Kyle Pitts and Bijan here, I love bulldoze the stadium and build a Home Depot.
I had some really good intel on Zach Robinson, so I'm definitely all in on him. I'm in on him. No, I didn't know how good. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know how good Bobby Sloak was. I don't think the Niners coaches who work with him knew how good he was. To be honest with you. But getting back to Atlanta, I'm in on Zach Robinson. I love the way that I've been told, the way they use Bijan, the way they use Pitts. Pitts is totally healthy. He's over he had 2 different knee issues. He's great. They're moving him for matchup purposes on linebackers in practice. He killed them. I'm so into Bijan. The Arthur Smith experience is over. They're using Bijan the right way. He's healthy. Okay. Let me get into this. I don't know how this stuff starts, and I get stuff. People ask me on Twitter, is this true? And I don't respond on Twitter, but I'll just respond here. So I guess there's some fantasy, what do you call them, experts or pundits who said that Algier and Robinson are a timeshare. That's complete nonsense. It's basically made up. I didn't see it. I'm just responding what people ask me on Twitter. So
Bijan and Algier.
It's totally false. It's no different than any other backup starter. It's coming this year, folks, with Bijan. I mean, unless he gets hurt, it's coming. I'm telling you.
Now, do you like him or Brees?
I've been asked that by my friends who've already drafted. I said I'm going to repeat what I said. If you want the sure thing, it's Brees. If you want the upside, it's Bijan. Whatever you want, take it. Right. I'm probably going to take, if I'm in a PPR league, because I know that we're going to use Bijan. I want the home run, John. I want graphic-ness. Yeah. And I was on Brees the day he was drafted. I said he's the next.
So was I. I mean,
he was the next Jonathan Taylor. No matter what people told you,
absolutely,
that's what I said.
Absolutely.
I know you didn't quite see it that way, but I did. And
whatever. But I absolutely loved him as a pick. I'm in on both, but I want Bijan. I want the upside. Yeah. If they're both there, I'm taking them. You can't go wrong. By the way, I don't think you can, Brian. Yeah, but it's only because of I talked to people who work with Zach. I know the way he thinks based on people I've spoken with. He sees it like a quarterback. He sees it the right way. Every indication I've been given has been good. Their offensive line's okay. It's good enough. Their depth is not good. That does worry me if somebody gets hurt. I do worry about maybe a slow start with Kirky not playing. We have something of a little bit of a challenging start here. Pittsburgh at Philly, KC. Sure. Could be a little bit of a slow start.
I would say this.
But if so, trade for them on the cheap after week 3 or 4.
They're playing, and the first game is at home, by the way. Kirk's back in a West Coast scheme. It's a good scheme for him. He knows it. He did great with O'Connell. Robinson's running his version of it, which will be more McVay-based.
By the way, real quick,
yeah,
that's the toughest 3-game stretch they have all year. So if you don't get a Falcon, I'm telling you right now.
Then it gets better, man. Then it gets better. I could tell you the Buccaneers secondary is not very good. Panthers are really bad in the secondary. Seattle's overrated in the secondary. They play Tampa again. Dallas lost Bland. Yeah.
What's up with New Orleans?
They're all healthy, but
they got a Debo and Lattimore.
Right. They're inconsistent. They're inconsistent, but that's not easy.
Where's the pass rush show?
Oh, but and look, you're right, John. Although I'll tell you what, Steelers are bad at nickel. They still don't know who their nickel is. I'm not buying Dante Jackson. They're not deep at corner. You could spread them out.
Yeah.
I think Zach Robinson's smart enough to come out with more 11, early on. I mean, I get it. Ray McLeod and Casey Washington aren't exactly great.
It's an Artie Smith revenge game.
Yeah, I know, the Artie Smith ball. But Mooney's their shot play guy. For what I was told, Zach Robinson's done a good job moving him around to free him up because, John, I told you, he's really small. He plays small.
Yeah, he is.
You have to free him up. He physically won't win.
And you know what? They lost Rondale Moore. They are really thin.
Thin, I know. They don't exactly. Good point. I'm all in on Pitts. You know how I always say I always get these guys wrong when I take tight ends 5th. Every year there's like a group of tight ends people take in the 4th through 6th rounds are super athletic. They all fail.
Yeah.
Every time I do it, I get them wrong. I never get them. I'm on the wrong year.
Yeah.
I'm
in. I'm not aggressively, enthusiastically like pounding the table, but I am in. I do not.
And by the way, this is
last year.
And this is the first year they could extend his contract. Like he could get extended in season if he's going off.
Yeah.
So this is a big year for Kyle. I mean, I know they rolled over your 5th-year option for next year, but
right. The year before last, 2022, I thought people were crazy taking Pitts at 35. I actually said that.
But we also didn't know he was hurt as who he was. They didn't.
No, I'm talking 2 years ago.
Okay.
I was out last year.
No, he got hurt 2 years ago.
Well, he sucked before that. It was Artie Smith.
Yeah. Well, thank God the Artie experience is done.
Yeah. But last year, I thought, okay, you can get him now in the 6th. I'm signing off on that regardless. The mistake was Artie was still there and suckage at quarterback was still there. Those two things are taken care of.
Yeah, well, right. That's the other thing we should mention. There are no excuses. And Kirk's fine. He's physically over the Achilles. Obviously, Penix is his backup.
Although I will say real quick, I saw a video of Kirk talking about Pitts and how he kind of teases him about, hey, you might want to go after that ball a little harder, things like that. So maybe Pitts might be this unicorn who never really truly brings it. This is a huge year.
Well, no, John, he's not the most physical guy.
Yeah.
That's the only true knock because this was his scouting report.
That's what I'm kind of confused.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I mean, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
John, you mentioned how there's no depth on this Falcons team. My God, if Bijan, London, and Pitts don't go off, Darnell Mooney's the 2. Then after that, you're looking at Ray McLeod and Kaderil Hodge.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's Casey Washington. Yeah.
And Charlie Warner and Ross Dwelly, a couple of
they're wide tight. Yeah, they're wide tight ends to help the block. That's the only reason why they're there.
That's it. They're yet another.
And they know that they're West Coast offensive tight ends.
And by the way, let's not forget, one of the other impediments to Kyle Pitts was Jonnu freaking Smith.
I know. Jonnu Smith was killing him. I know. I remember that. Let's go to Carolina.
Sure. I'll hop in the car now.
Yeah, let's go to Carolina. So Bryce Young, he's making a jump, looking good
about him.
Yeah, a little better. I wouldn't draft him in a 2-quarterback league. I'm not. I'm a little worried about his body type. Still a little worried about that. That does worry me.
I feel pretty good though.
All right, but Thielen was great last season. He was like the only story on offense that was good. They actually have depth. I mean, they're good.
Very good.
They're in good shape here.
Good.
John Legette's just raw.
Yeah, I'm not in.
He needs a lot of work. It's going to be Deontay and Deontay. He's bucking for a new contract.
That's it.
And Mingo. They're actually have depth, which they didn't have last year.
Yeah.
They've got the 2 wide tight ends with Jatavian Sanders as their move tight end. Sanders, see, John, he's another one of these guys like Gerald Everett. These flex tight ends, they usually don't for fantasy. They're teases. They usually don't make it, for fantasy.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
The only other thing going on here is I do think Chuba Hubbard will be a sneaky pick for.
He's their lead back. There's no doubt.
He's their lead back.
Yeah. For now, until
if you're screwed at running back, right? Let's say you go receiver heavy, take a quarterback, tight end early, take freaking Chuba Hubbard. He's one of your starters, and then figure it out from there because Brooks is not playing until week 5 at the earliest.
Yeah, and he's doing well. They made a decision when they drafted him. Not most teams that I talked to didn't agree with it. He had a clean ACL. They made a decision as soon as they draft him. They're going to take the slow route. That's fine. That's fine because he's going to John. He is another one of these special backs. I'm telling you.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
He's got a chance to be really damn good. Good kid. From everything I've heard, he's just unfortunately, he's got this. He's come back from major injury, but long term, that's a guy I would be in on for dynasty. In fact, I'd trade for him since he's on NFI.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the owner has him who's scared. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know when he's going to play. Take advantage of that guy. I want him.
Right.
There's nothing else really.
Jalen McMillan.
What's that?
How about Tampa Bay? My guy.
Well, we'll get them in a second.
I love that kid, man.
But I just want to mention that Carolina's feeling a lot better about their offensive line. The key to it is Ike Iguana, their left tackle, has been very disappointing the first 2 years. It's up to him. If he plays well, they're going to have a good offensive line.
Yeah. He was terrible week 1 last year.
He didn't play well. Well, let's go to New Orleans first, then we'll go to Tampa.
Okay.
Yeah, Kendre Miller, John, it's not going to happen.
Well, he's on IR.
Yeah,
he's in the Chateau.
He literally has been hurt the day that he was hurt before they drafted him, right?
Oh, I wasn't in on him at all until this year for about 3 months. I'm like, hey, they got skanked behind Alvin Kamara.
I know, I get it,
But I bailed a month and a half ago on
their offensive line is really shaky, to be honest with you. It does worry me.
Yeah.
Now Clint Kubiak is calling the plays here. They're pure West Coast. I think this is good for Carr. He's played in it before. It'll force him to get rid of the football quicker.
Yeah. Another weak receiving core.
I mean, A.T. Perry's a fun player at a good camp. Now, they're going to be a lot of 12 personnel, so I don't know how well he's going to do. I mean, if you're looking for a late round flyer, you never know because he's really tall and he has some ability. He would be a guy. But yeah, that's. I'm just worried about their offensive line. I'm not. It's basically what I've heard. There should be some concern. They have no depth at all. There should be some concerns there.
And Trevor Penning is like, what the hell, man? This guy's all over the place.
Yeah, well, he was that's why they drafted Fuaga.
Yeah.
But yeah, McMillan, I like Jalen McMillan. I like a lot. I really do. Yeah, he's down the line for dynasty. I mean, 2 years from now, they'll have to make it. Someone's going to have to go.
I think he's playing over Trey Palmer.
Right away. No, he definitely is. I'm just talking about down the line, though.
Yeah, he's good, man. I interviewed him at the combine. Great guy. He's willing to do anything, like inside, outside. Like he'll be outside, like good route runner. He's really consistent. Like he's good.
Yeah, they brought their line back now. Graham Barton's going to move from tackle to center. That's fine. He's played some guard too, but he's going to be their center. They're going to have a decent offensive line. They're another team with not very good depth in their offensive line, which is concerning.
It's better though than last year.
I mean, all they have is Hainsey, who's back.
Well, I'm
okay.
Assuming the number 1 pick is good.
No, he's starting, but I'm talking about depth.
Well, I'm just saying this time. Oh yeah, depth wise, yeah. I'm just saying the starting 5. Let's start there.
Yeah, no, Bredesen's not bad. He won it.
I think they will block it for Rachaad White better than last year.
Well, Rashad is not going to change the way he plays. It's
block it up a little bit better for him though. He'll do better.
Yeah, I'm hoping Sean Tucker could push Bucky Irving as the season goes along.
Now you're talking with my big Syracuse S behind me here. Sean Tucker is
I'm hoping he pushes him because he's got more juice than Irving.
The only problem is that Bucky Irving is more of that traditional scat back changeup, right?
Well, Tucker's more explosive, but Bucky Irving was drafted versus Tucker was not, and that does mean something. So that's the issue. Cade Otton, I've always liked him. Just doesn't get the ball enough.
He's solid.
I know. He's not. He's very sneaky, but he just doesn't get the ball enough consistently.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it, guys.
Is Liam Cohen going to run?
I'm sorry.
What kind of offense can we expect from Liam Cohen?
West Coast. It's West Coast. Did a great job. I did talk to guys who work with him at Kentucky. He's a pretty good play caller, good schemer.
So Baker was with him for a cup of coffee in LA a couple of years
ago. For like 3 or 4 weeks. Yep. Until he went back to Kentucky. So I'm liking it. I think this is going to work out. I'm liking the scheme.
He likes it.
There's nothing in particular about Evans. There's just nothing really to add with Evans and Godwin here. It's just
I like Godwin this year.
Back in the slot.
Yeah.
Yep.
More slot. Little Cooper Kupp roll here and there.
And I think with Palmer's speed, hopefully it was really odd how his yards per catch are so bad because he's a speed. He's really a 9-route runner. I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah. Yep.
That it's not better, but other than that, that's it, folks.
No, that's all, folks. All right. Well, let's answer some questions here.
Do it, man.
We promised it. So
do it.
Steven, right. I miss Mr. C.
Can I see him? Comments. Okay. Okay. Ballsy.
Yeah. Noah Brown of the Commanders, by the way.
Yeah. He'll be on their active. He'll be on their active roster relatively soon.
Gentleman right here actually paid $4.99 to ask this question.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's got a draft tomorrow, and he got the second pick. So he's stuck between.
I just answered it, Brandon. Yeah.
Brees and Bijan in a full PPR. Which way are you leaning?
I want the upside. I want Bijan. Again, you cannot get it wrong, Brandon. You just can't.
Let's go by the schedule. Here's Brees's. He's got the Niners. That's a little scary.
Yeah.
But then Titans, Patriots, Broncos, Vikings, Bills. Pretty good. Steelers, Patriots, Texans, Cardinals, Colts, Seahawks, Dolphins, Jags, Rams, Bills, Dolphins. It's pretty good once you get past week 1. Atlanta. I actually, this is a good tiebreaker. I hate to say it, but I really do at this point. I'm going back. I'm kind of devolving in some ways because I used to not worry about schedule, and now I'm worried because I saw a lot of schedules screw up some players last year. Bijan's got Pittsburgh, Philly, KC, as we talked about.
See, with me, guys, John knows this because he's worked with me forever, and Brian's listened to me, so he knows. I'm about play caller. I evaluate every play caller. I'm big on trust, and I have a high trust with Zach Robinson.
He's never done it.
I know, but you know what? And the kid in Houston showed me you don't have to have called plays before.
Sure,
it'd be really good.
And by the way, Brees, we're dealing with Hackett.
Yeah, but he's got help this year, and I can't really go into it. But just to say he's got some help.
I know. I have heard that he's not running the show.
He's calling the plays, but he's got a lot of input. I'll leave it at that.
Right. Well, to answer the question,
I'm really in on Brees, but you can't get it wrong.
I'm going Brees just because that's where my projections take me.
Okay. But again, if you want the upside, Joe Saviano, yeah, I talked about Fant. I feel not that you should be drafting him. You talking about Noah Fant? I assume. I don't know of any other Fant.
Yeah.
I saw it. I was pretty happy with the way that Grubb was using the tight ends.
Yeah, Fant's not bad.
But again, I don't want him as my starting. If I'm carrying 2 tight ends, sure, go.
He's probably going to be one of the first guys we write up about.
The craziness is okay. He's
hard to believe that he was drafted.
He's making $10 million a year, which is insane.
Did he go in front of Hawkinson?
I don't know. Sounds right. I don't know. I'm not sure, but I just can't believe what Seattle's paying him. It's just ridiculous.
Well, I see this is an advantage of ranking on projections because I'm projecting his role and then projecting his stats, and I've been ahead of the markets, and I don't really give a crap about Noah Fant, but I've been ahead of the markets on Noah Fant because I'm going off a projection.
He's going to make, folks, $10.5 million. Well, he's got a 2-year deal, but he's making $10.5 a year. Jesus Christ.
Wow. Now, Hawkinson was the 8th pick of the draft. Fant was the 20th pick.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. All right. What else we got?
All right. We got another guy who gave us a couple of dollars. Thank you guys for these kind of super questions here. We appreciate it. This is more open-ended from Jason Quinones talking about his 10-team PPR league with, you can see all the names here: Mahomes, Barkley, Achane, St. Brown, Kupp, Dell, Kelsey, the whole litany of guys. And he's looking for trade ideas, or if basically he should stand pat with this roster. Look, I love Achane. Barkley, we think, has a better year. I think this team is solid. I don't love Eckler, Aaron Jones. We'll see if he ever stays healthy. Jerome Ford, is very replaceable, but he's going to start the season in Cleveland. I love Brown for the Bengals. I don't know, Guru, what do you think with this team? It looks like he's got a lot of kind of running backs.
Yeah. I mean, the obvious answer is look to trade away the old guys, Kupp and Keenan Allen. But, obviously most people will say, no, oh, you're trying to sell me an old guy. So I didn't see anything there that really made a ton of sense. But, looking at like Kupp's ADP is still getting some love here. So it's not like people think he's dead or he's worthless. Then again, like, is it a risk? Because what if Kupp stays healthy this year? Maybe you win a ship this year. I wouldn't count on Kupp beyond this year. But yeah, that would be the easy answer. The old guys.
There's a question here, and kind of we can spin this into just a handcuff discussion. Kinger wants to know, is it important as a Christian McCaffrey owner to have Mason as the handcuff, or is it unnecessary? There's a lot of folks in fantasy that'll say, I want someone else's backup, so when they get hurt, I've got their player. My thought process is, well, if I have Christian McCaffrey and he gets hurt, I'm down a running back. And so, I'm screwed. There are certain running backs who, if they get the role, can be RB1s. And maybe in that scheme, anybody can be an RB1.
Yeah. But Alexander Madison.
Remember those days with Madison? I'm taking Mason. If I get CMC, same with Kyron. I'm making it a point to go get Blake Corum.
Yeah, and also Jordan Mason could handle volume. He's a big dude. He absolutely could handle volume.
I believe they're going more to gap over the last couple of years to force CMC, and that's Mason's strength anyway. And I just feel like every time I turn around, they're kind of talking him up about how much he's improved the last 2 years.
Yeah, no question about it, man. That's always the fun part of these fantasy drafts too. When you see the guys maybe that don't know as much what they're doing and they're reaching early for these backups, just go over to FantasyPoints.com, download our cheat sheets. You can even get Guru specific rankings. John's got his own section on the site. You can download his top 150. I'm printing it out myself. I'm going to be bringing it to my drafts. I got to update it from.
I got to update though tomorrow, I guess, from the Ayuk news. I got to adjust a little bit here. Shout out to the Fantasy Godfather. I see him here in the chat, Lewis. So what's up, Godfather?
Let's see another one here. Full PPR. It's a redraft league. Amari Cooper, Tank Dell, or Deontay Johnson.
I mean, I have Cooper higher. I mean, he's kind of the alpha. So is Deontay. But I mean, Adam, I got to go Cooper. Even though I'm feeling pretty good about Bryce Young and not great about the quarterback situation there for the Browns with Deshaun Watson. But I mean, I feel like we're starting to get some momentum here for DTR, Adam, in Cleveland.
He's very raw, man. He could run, but he
threw a laser touchdown in the preseason.
John, he's.
But they're talking about trading Jameis. There's been rumors of Jameis being traded.
No, they were trying. They had too many quarterbacks, so they wound up cutting Huntley.
All right, Huntley. Yeah, whatever. But you know what? If Watson does suck, as the Miz said, Jameis can throw the ball often to the other team. Yes, but he can throw it, so he wouldn't. Cooper would
Jameis, let me just explain. Jameis will not start a game if Watson's healthy. I don't care how bad Watson plays. If he does play badly, there's no chance Winston will play.
I hear you, but guess what? Based on what Watson's shown me, if he's
been bad, I know.
If he sucks, he'll get hurt again because he's
faking
it.
They stupidly gave him 5 years of fully guaranteed. It's just stupid.
If Watson sucks again, he will get hurt again because he'll fake it.
I'm just glad that Cooper did well as he did. That's pretty.
Thanks to Joe Flacco. That's the thing.
I know.
I said that a year ago. People killed me. I said Deshaun Watson just doesn't want to play, and people are like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" But hey, we got a question here. Rob, don't call me Eric Bischoff, says, like Drake, I took Hawkinson and I IR'd him. Given Mr. C's comments, who do you like in the short term? Your guy Conklin, Taysom Hill, who's getting a lot of hype here in preseason, or David Njoku, who finished hotter than anybody at the tight end position last year?
I mean, I don't love Njoku this year because, again, I'm worried about Watson. but I mean, he's the answer. I mean, I'd have to roll with him over Conklin.
A little bit. Yeah, I would agree with you, John.
Are we talking? I mean, we're talking price considerations here. Then that's different.
Conklin's got his ADP is so low. Last time I looked,
Who do I like better as a pick? It's Conklin.
Yeah.
Who am I drafting to start? Beating Njoku.
Clark Schuyler, excuse me. Guru, what's your favorite new Georgian cuisine?
Pimento cheese spread. Delicious.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
Boys, I'm gonna have to run in a couple minutes. So anything for me? Anything left?
Let me see. I don't know. That's about it. I think we could wrap things up right here because I know Guru probably needs another beverage, and I've just got done playing 9 holes and smell like a dumpster fire here. And
Thank
I
you for telling
haven't eaten dinner. So,
Yo.
and I got to go celebrate my 1 over par to close my season. So,
Wow, are you
Mr. C.
serious?
Yeah, man. Oh,
You
shit, I
should've-
missed
what?
missed a birdie putt on, or not a birdie putt, missed a just a
Wow,
par putt that would have won it. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. But
that's pretty cool.
good round. And my partner won the long drive contest. So
Nice.
Hold on. We have Queen Maud here. Guru, why are you so low on Roma Odunze? I think we addressed this. Kathleen, don't call me Maud. She was in the Philly draft Adam last year. Well, we already addressed that. Rewind it when we're talking, I guess, Bears. I don't want to miss anything here.
And then there's Maud.
Thoughts on Garrett Wilson? We hit it. Anything else? No, I think we're good. I think we're pretty good here.
Wilson's my crush this year, just because he finally, knock on wood with Rodgers, just the way that they're going to use Wilson. Because they're changing. He went from being their X last year to their Z. That means a lot to me. The way that they're going to move Wilson around.
Right.
And Rodgers has such a trust in him. When I saw what they were doing with him with the Giants last week. I was at that joint practice. You hear about it from talking to people. Then when you see it, I was like, wow, they really are doing this.
Yeah. Craig says, what about the St. Patrick's? What about Carl Granderson, Chase Young, and Cam Jordan?
That's not the problem. Yeah, that's not the problem.
No, Cam Jordan is great. What's he, 34 now?
They should be way better than they are. Trust me.
I'm a Chase Young hater from day one, though. He's been absolutely dreadful.
Oh, Chase Young. I thought you saw him about Cam Jordan. Yeah.
Chase Young, Cam Jordan's awesome, but he's like 34 now.
His dad, you remember Steve? Of
course I remember his dad.
All right, guys, I must run. Good
stuff. All right, guys. Well, let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us. Good luck in your drafts this weekend, and we'll see you next time for the Fantasy Points Podcast.
What? Why are you shaking your head?
You're welcome.